Well, hello internets, here we are with a look back and answering a few questions of where I've been and where I'm going. Where have I been? A bit of a recap and a look at where I've been over the last few months of 2023. The last time I did a vlog was around the big dentist surgery. The dental surgery and the following days were okay. Not nearly as bad as I figured they would be. The healing of the gums went very, very well. Very little pain or discomfort from the procedure and all of that. The loss of my teeth hasn't really affected my ability to eat. I still have not tried steak yet, but I would imagine it would be okay. All those years of living with pain and avoiding certain foods and dealing with the sharp teeth, I have no idea why I waited so long. I am very thankful that I had the ability and the courage to have got those things took care of. I'm very thankful for those who helped me get to and from the surgery and through the following days. As you've seen in the earlier vlogs, I did not camp with the Jayco this season. I was given the blessing to use a cargo trailer. The longtime viewers may recognize this cargo trailer from the 2017-2018 season. This trailer was a project of mine back before my life changed. Back before things became complicated and confusing. I had to abandon that project, and I have kinda regretted it ever since. The time spent in that trailer made me realize what a blessing that trailer was. And as a result, when I came back home, I was revitalized and I started on the Jayco project. However, the Jayco build did not go as good as I wanted it to. The trailer had sustained heavy water damage from a previous owner. It was never wet or flooded while I owned it. However, I remember the previous owner talking about a ruptured hot water heater. But he had said the damage was remediated through the insurance. However, I guess the damage was not. It's a shame. It was a nice trailer, perfect for me, perfect for my plans, and perfect for my way of living. What are the future plans for the Jayco? Well, as you have seen in the previous vlogs, the Jayco has been retired from being a camper. I had the opportunity in 2022 to sell it, but I did not want to sell it for the lowball offers that I was receiving. I understand water damage is a death sentence for most items or trailers or whatever, but I still have plans for the Jayco and I haven't given up hope. Currently, the Jayco is a shed. It still has the ability to be pulled down the road and really could be still fixed into a nice ice fishing shack or potentially even back into a camper. However, for me, that time has passed. When I was remediating the water damage as best I could, I removed the bathroom, I removed the furnace, I removed the kitchen, and I removed the fridge. I do still have the appliances, but everything else is gone. Probably by the time you guys hear this video, I will have sold those appliances to recover some of the money for the upcoming season. During the spring of 2023, the time came to continue on my journey. Living in an apartment was never a long-term plan for me. In fact, in 2018, I had planned to move into the Jayco full-time. That is why I sold the cargo trailer camper conversion project and bought the Jayco. It was an impulse buy and a last attempt at not being homeless. Maybe I should have hung on to the cargo trailer a bit longer and finished the project in some way or another. It may not have been what my vision was, but it still would have been cheaper than the purchase of the Jayco to have had it let me down after just a few years. However, over the last 4 years, I've been able to deal with a lot of things, fix the final fallout from the implosion of my old life, and move on from the betrayal and the emotional trauma and pain that went with all of that. I set the plans in motion and started to sort through boxes. Some of those boxes hadn't been opened since 2018, and others since 2020. I sold a lot of small things and old items and stuff that was left over from my old hobbies and from my past life. Over the following months, the items got larger and larger. I sold my deep freeze, then my second painting bench. During this time, I had found a small bedroom to rent. This way I have an idea of what I can take with me and what I have to liquidate. I have kept my bed even though it's a double bed and too big for me. It was an expensive bed and it's only 3 years old. I kept my smart TV. I know it's a bit big for a small space, but it is paid for. I kept my second painting workbench. I know it takes up valuable space, but the paintings may be what gets me through the winter. During this, I had a few camping adventures and some time away, but I could not stay away long because there was work to do. After camping season, I had given my notice to the property management company. I received a cool response to my notice, like they did not really care. I was not expecting them to panic and offer me free rent, but it would have been nice if they pretended to care. With that, I kicked the packing and sorting and selling into high gear. Everything left in the apartment at this point was for sale. Stuff that I had listed on Marketplace but really wasn't selling, I donated. With everything coming together and the final days of the occupation of my apartment coming to an end, my dental surgery was just around the corner. And that was the deadline for selling. I was not sure how I would be after the surgery. I had my fill on all the tire kickers and time wasters at this point. Toward the end of August, all my items were sold and my apartment was nearly empty. I was heading for the dental surgery, and my time living at this apartment had come to a close. I had been living in my new space now for about a month, starting to get the feeling for the space and how I needed to set things up to adjust to a much smaller space than I was used to. This new space is in an active apartment with other people. People that hold a day schedule, people that have lives of their own. And as a result, sometimes my sleep patterns don't mesh with theirs. But so far, things are okay in that area. I have never had housemates before. I have always lived alone or with a girlfriend or wife. This small space will have to work. I refuse to get rid of my dog. I would rather be homeless than to give away my dog because of a landlord's greed. Once I got settled into my new space, things started to work out. I am so glad I liquidated my life again. The cash came in handy for setting up my new space. The money from my liquidation was meant to go toward my future plans. However, this was more important. Many of the large items I liquidated, I had to turn around and rebuy in smaller form, of course in inflated value. Due to the small space I have to work with, I had to get creative with the use of space and things. I built a few shelves for organizing and had to make space to move around. I couldn't live out of boxes and containers. I had to spread my things out because I may be here for a year or more. My painting workbench does take up a lot of valuable space. My painting supplies take up a lot of room. I'm hoping that this pays off and I can get some painting done. I don't plan to sell my work. To me, they are just paints on a canvas. To me, they are a record of my journey and where I've been since 2018, traveling through my emotions. People that have viewed my so-called artwork claim to like them. Well, as the summer turned into fall, I tried to revive my creativity. However, my creativity did not return. I went out and bought some new art supplies thinking that that would jumpstart my creativity, but so far that hasn't worked. I think this season, due to limited space, I would be focusing more on quality, not quantity. If I can't revive my creativity, then maybe I need to get rid of my painting supplies and painting bench. I know it will free up a lot of room for activities in this small space. As I was starting to get prepared for my customary winter hibernation, I received a message from an online dating site. We chatted for a bit. We had a lot in common. And I thought, why not? At very least, it will distract me from the winter and the small space I live in. We made arrangements to meet for a coffee. She lives over 2 hours away. It was a bit of a drive, but at least the fall weather was good. The first time we met at her place. She looked to be a semi-normal, non-mutant human female. We talked in person. We shared a lot of the same ideas and plans for the future. We had a fun day together. I planned to drive home the same day, or possibility of sleeping in my truck and driving back in the morning. But she invited me to stay on an air mattress and drive back the next day. That was probably the better idea than driving home tired and fatigued. The next day before I left, I figured I would make it a good day, especially if this would be the last time that we would see each other. I offered her to have a road trip barbecue around the town and area that she lived in. We visited cemeteries, small towns, viewed some churches and historic grain elevators, as well as other roadside points of interest. I am sure she enjoyed it. She was happy. I think she really enjoyed the adventures. When it was time for me to leave, I headed home. We kept in contact. We talked a lot. However, she wanted me to come back a lot sooner than I had planned to. So here I go again on another 2-hour drive to see her. This time was a bit different. Her daughter was there. However, that was no problem or anything. It was nice to talk to another human. Her daughter's almost an adult. Once again, I stayed on the air mattress. I guess she told her daughter about our barbecue road trip and adventure, and her daughter wanted to show me some of the things in the area that she had found herself. So we went on an evening adventure around the area. I had stayed for a few days at this time, maybe 4 in total. I figured the more time I spent there, the better. We could get to know each other a bit better, talk more, and when it was time for me to come home, I left. This is some of the footage I filmed on the way home. I was home for a bit. This gave me a chance to rest and recover, a chance to do some banking and things, a chance to unpack and organize my space even further from what I had already had it in the previous weeks. During this time, we kept in contact. We made plans for another meetup. When that time came, I drove back up to see her. However, this time the vibe was different, but I went with it. We attended a haunted corn maze the one night, and we had a good supper the other. Her daughter had school the one time, and she had part-time work to attend. So that day I went out in the town she lived in, explored a little bit, and took some pictures of the town. Later that day we talked more about things. She talked about things in their past, just like I had told her about mine. Once again, we agreed upon a lot of the same things. However, things were starting to wind down. Our agreed upon time was coming to an end. However, her daughter had the idea to go on a barbecue road trip, just like the one that I took her mom on a few weeks earlier. So I quickly threw together a rough plan and a route list. We packed some food and such. We went on a road trip barbecue in the area. It was a fun day. It was a good day. It was a fall day, a bit cool, but a fun adventure. During these times, she needed assistance studying for an online class. And in the following day, there was an in-person class that one morning. So I drove her to the school, and while she was in the class, I was out filming the town where she lived in. Well, the weeks of sleeping on the air mattress and the previous cold outside adventure that I had been on caught up to me. I started to feel rough. It was time for me to head home to a real bed and rest up and recover from the fun adventure. However, like I said, the vibe was off this time, but I had made the best of it because I enjoy, well, the socializing with other people. I get home, and over the next few days we kept in contact, but she opened up over text and essentially told me what her true feelings were about me and things. And just like many times before, how it always ends, the dreaded friend zone happens. You're not good enough to date or plan a future with, but you're good enough to lay all your problems on, good enough to play games with emotionally, but in the end, all they ever want to do is be friends. I guess one of the bonuses is I don't have to waste money driving all winter in the extreme cold. And I got some videos and footage out of the deal, as well as a few fall adventures in the area. And I will be returning in the future, but probably not for a few more years. I deleted my dating profile again. Too much of the same nonsense. After a while, the auditions and disappointments are not worth it. I have been told women have different experiences online with online dating than men do. There are not many prospective women online willing to give a person like me a chance. Once a person realizes this, the better my life will be. I retracted into my bubble and kept to myself. I reflected on the fall, realizing that I did a lot of driving in a very short while. Maybe I overdone it and ran myself down. However, it sure was fun and worth every feeling of pain and discomfort and the emotional roller coaster that followed. That affected me a lot. However, I needed to shut down and recover, take time for myself and organize my new space further, and get that feeling comfortable and completely set up. Over many years, I have put my needs aside to take care of others and to pursue other things. It is time for me to take care of myself. I feel the winter is close. I feel the weather changing, and I feel the unsettled feeling. I know this winter will be the hardest mentally, emotionally, and physically. My new living space is tiny, especially when you're used to a one-bedroom apartment. I keep telling myself that they accept my dog, so here is where I need to be. However, I find myself needing a distraction. So of course, I went back online. I know it's a long shot, but you never know. Maybe the right one is still out there. I've tried to make contact with many, but have not had much success at all. Sometimes they are looking for things that I am not looking for. Sometimes they are afraid of moving on from their past life or experiences. Sometimes they want to be financially supported. Sometimes they want another baby so they can play the system for another 18 years. I have plans for my future. Plans that are more centered around me. Plans that could include another person. However, that may not be possible at my age. With the Christmas season close, there are many Christmas light displays in the area. I may try to get out and visit them, especially with the unseasonably warm weather. During the last year, I have been trying to save up for the spring project build. It will feel great to finally finish the project that I started in 2017. I have been ordering critical items from online sources so they can be here in the spring so I can start the build. Once again, I've been trying to stay focused on the spring and summer plans, and not the cold, dark winter and claustrophobically small space that I live in. With my life the way it is, money will always be a factor. However, with the changes that I've made, the stress has greatly diminished. I'm just hoping that I can reach my goal in a timely manner. I've had so many things going on in my head over the last few years and even few months and weeks. Sometimes it can be the perfect storm of stress, anxiety, and money and all that things. However, without the distraction of the auditions and repetitions of being friend zone, I will be able to reach my goal and live the life I had planned to live all those years earlier. If you don't try, you will never succeed. The future is unknown and it'll be full of adventures. Sometimes those adventures can be memorable, sometimes they can be ones you want to forget. Sometimes life is full of potholes and sometimes life is full of mountains. I thank each and every one of you for supporting our channel and our adventures. I look forward to 2024 and what that will bring. Stay tuned for more videos. Things are just starting to get interesting. Thanks again. And as always, comment, subscribe, and enjoy.